because sexuality and gender and all this stuff like that are a really confusing thing, and I know it can be hard. Hey guys, Logan here, and welcome back to another video, and happy Pride Month. So today for this week's Pride Month video, I figured I would do some coming out advice as it was requested by a fellow subscriber and friend, Emily. So today I'm going to talk about coming out of the closet. So the first thing I have for advice is to make sure. Now I know that sounds really stupid and cliche, but you really need to make sure that you're gay or bi or trans before you start announcing it, because based upon my experience, I convinced my mom when I wasn't completely sure, which was fine, but some parents who aren't as receptive to it are going to be even more skeptical if you go with the line, well, I'm not really sure. So you need to be completely comfortable with it yourself, and you need to be completely sure before you start announcing it to people, because you don't want to come out and then a year down the line or 6 months down the line you find out that that really isn't who you are. Here's my advice on figuring out how to be sure you are what you say you are, sexually, genderly. Do your research. Look online, see the procedures, see other people in your situation, and read up and see what their experiences were like, and if their experiences semi-match up to you, then it'll make a bit more sense. Talk to other people in your community experiencing the same things. Like if you're gay, find the other people that are gay in your school and talk to them and ask them questions, because if they're anything like me and my GSA friends and GSA members, they're completely okay with answering your questions, and they have an anonymous always policy. If you're still not completely sure, give yourself some time, and you'll really be sure once you start catching feelings for someone. So now for the actual coming out process itself, what I would say is come out to a few trusted friends first. Start with one that you know is going to be completely supportive, start with another, and go on and so forth. But tell friends that you know are going to keep your secret and you know aren't going to tell Susie down the street. You want to make sure that they're people you can trust and people you can go to. So my advice is come out to your friends first, and then come out to your parents. Coming out to your parents can be really complicated, especially if you're me and you have split families. But for me, I would say only come out when you're ready. Don't push yourself. Don't let your friends influence you. Only come out when you know you are 100% sure and you are 100% comfortable with yourself and you are ready. Only come out when you can fully say to yourself in the mirror, yes, I am gay. Yes, I am lesbian. Yes, I am transgender. And for the actual coming out process itself, I would maybe say sit your parents down, have a conversation, explain to them how you're feeling, especially if they're a little bit apprehensive to the gay thing or the trans thing. Sitting them down and talking to them about the situation might help them understand more, instead of just saying, hey mom, I'm gay. Sit down with her, have a conversation, and say, no questions are off the table. You can ask me anything and I'll answer honestly. Now, if your parents are split families, it can be even harder. I relate. I ended up out to my dad over the phone during a major anxiety time in my life, as I shared my coming out story. But I ended up coming out with him in a really bad way. It was kind of over the phone, it was really anxious and anxiety inducing, and he turned out to be really okay with it, which I wasn't really shocked about afterwards, because I was like, I'm crazy to be worried about this. You really want them to be able to feel like they can ask you anything. So if you have split families, start with the person you're most comfortable with and move on. It's really difficult. I will say that coming out isn't easy, especially to your parents, so take it one day at a time. If you're not completely ready, then don't do it. My next tip of advice is make sure that you tell the important people in your life before you put it online. If you're anything like me, you would tell only some people and then sort of dance around it on the internet, but not necessarily hide it, and then leaving other people in your family kind of confused. Like I came out with my mom, came out to my mom and stepdad, and 2 years later I came out to my dad and stepmom and my grandparents. That created a lot of stress for me and my family. So you basically want to come out to your family first that you think matters to know coming from you, and then move on and tell the internet. Now, I also don't really think it's that important for the internet to know. If I could go back, I wouldn't really make a coming out post. I would have probably more geared towards coming out when I was in a relationship, but I wasn't in a relationship at the time and I was just tired of hiding. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't post about your sexuality online, just saying it explicitly outright in a Facebook post is kind of, I don't know, I just wish sometimes I didn't do it, because honestly I don't really think it's anyone's business. I don't think sexuality is something you should hide, but it's not really some Susie down the street's business who you have sex with. You know what I mean? My tips and advice are: make sure of your sexuality. Come out to comfortable friends first and slowly move on. Come out to your parents before posting it online. And don't flat out post it on the internet until you are completely comfortable or until you're in a serious committed relationship. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope my advice was a little bit helpful. Of course, I did just come out like last year or 2 years ago, however you want to look at it. So I'm still learning and still experiencing things, so I'm not going to be the best source, but there is websites and there is things like that, so I will leave some resources down below, as well as my coming out story, if you want to know more personal information about how I came out to my parents, how I came out to my friends. So the moral of the story is, be really comfortable with yourself before you even think about coming out, and then start small and then go big. Coming out is a really complicated process, and there's no shame in taking some time, even months, before you start telling people. If anyone watching this video needs someone to personally talk to, my DMs on Twitter, Instagram, or Snapchat are always open for you. Bye!